The Nikon Z90 has quickly become one of the most talked about cameras in the photography community, even though it hasn't officially been announced by Nikon. Speculation is running high that this upcoming model could be Nikon's next major APS-C mirrorless release, and potentially the long-awaited spiritual successor to the legendary Nikon D500. For many, the D500 was a gold standard among crop sensor DSLRs, particularly favored by wildlife and sports photographers for its rugged build, fast performance, and excellent autofocus capabilities. In that context, the idea of a mirrorless camera stepping into that legacy is exciting, and for some, the Nikon Z90 is already being informally dubbed the baby Z9, though it's worth noting that Nikon previously used that nickname for the Z8. Still, the Z90 is shaping up to be a serious contender if the current rumors are even partially accurate. At the heart of the Nikon Z90's appeal is the rumored 33-megapixel DX format sensor, a significant leap in resolution compared to Nikon's current APS-C offerings. If this sensor becomes a reality, it would place the Z90 in direct competition with the Canon EOS R7, which currently dominates the APS-C mirrorless market for advanced users. Canon's R7 features a 32.5 MP sensor and high-speed performance, making it a top choice for enthusiasts who demand detail and speed in a crop sensor body. For Nikon to mount a serious challenge in this space, the Z90 needs to deliver equally impressive, or better, specifications. Nikon has already established a strong reputation in the full-frame mirrorless space with cameras like the Z8 and Z9, both of which have received critical acclaim. However, in the APS-C realm, Nikon's presence has been more modest. Current models like the Z50 and the retro-styled ZFC are aimed primarily at beginners and hobbyists, leaving a noticeable gap in the lineup for a true flagship-level crop sensor mirrorless camera. The introduction of the Nikon Z90 could finally fill that void, offering a more robust tool for enthusiasts and professionals who prefer the added reach that APS-C sensors provide, particularly for genres like sports and wildlife photography. According to rumors, the Z90 won't just be about high resolution. It's expected to deliver robust video capabilities as well, with the ability to record 4K video at 60 frames per second using oversampling. This means footage should be sharper and more detailed, making it ideal for hybrid shooters who split their time between photography and video content creation. Additionally, support for full HD recording at high frame rates, possibly 120p or even 180p, could make the camera a strong choice for slow-motion videography. These video specs would place the Z90 in a competitive position for content creators who need both quality and flexibility. On the still photography front, the Nikon Z90 is rumored to offer continuous shooting at up to 15 frames per second, which will be a welcome feature for those capturing fast-moving subjects. What remains unclear is whether this burst rate applies solely to the mechanical shutter or if it extends to the electronic shutter as well. If Nikon includes a fast electronic shutter option, perhaps approaching or exceeding 20 or 30 FPS, it could position the Z90 squarely against the Canon EOS R7, which boasts a 30 FPS electronic shutter. This level of speed would be crucial for professional use, especially in dynamic shooting scenarios such as sports events or bird photography. Another feature expected in the Z90 is in-body image stabilization, with performance rated at up to 6 stops of shake reduction. This would be a major upgrade over the Canon EOS R7, which, despite being an excellent camera, does not include IBIS. Nikon has already demonstrated highly effective stabilization systems in its Z8 and Z9 cameras, so bringing that same technology to an APS-C model would give the Z90 a competitive edge, especially for handheld shooting in low light or with long lenses. In terms of usability, the Nikon Z90 is said to feature a 3.2-inch tilting touchscreen. While not fully articulating, a tilting screen offers fast and intuitive framing when shooting from high or low angles. This design decision seems to indicate that Nikon is prioritizing still photography with the Z90, rather than marketing it purely as a hybrid camera. While vloggers and video creators might prefer a fully articulating display for maximum flexibility, photographers often find a tilting screen faster to adjust and less cumbersome in use. Storage options on the Z90 are another strong point if rumors hold true. It is expected to include dual card slots, one for CF Express Type B and another for SD cards. This setup would provide photographers with both speed and redundancy. The CF Express Type B slot enables extremely fast write speeds for high-resolution bursts and 4K video, while the SD slot adds convenience and compatibility. Dual slots are also a critical feature for professionals who need backup options during important shoots. One of the biggest unknowns surrounding the Nikon Z90 is the type of sensor it will use. While the 33MP resolution sounds promising, it's still unclear whether Nikon will adopt stacked sensor technology. A stacked sensor, like those seen in the Fujifilm X-H2S and OM system OM1, enables faster data readout, reduced rolling shutter, and superior burst performance. However, implementing this technology would raise production costs. Considering the Canon EOS R7 uses a non-stacked sensor, Nikon may opt for a traditional CMOS sensor to keep the Z90 more competitively priced. Even so, if Nikon can optimize performance through other means, like processing power and software algorithms, the camera could still deliver exceptional results. Should all these rumored specs come to fruition, the Nikon Z90 could easily become one of the most capable APS-C cameras ever made. It would serve not only as a powerful tool for enthusiasts and professionals alike but also as a serious rival to Canon's dominance in this segment. The Canon EOS 7 South African Rand is currently regarded as the gold standard for high-speed APS-C mirrorless photography, combining excellent resolution, quick autofocus, and solid video features. If Nikon intends to dethrone or at least challenge the R7, the Z90 must meet or exceed those capabilities. In areas such as image stabilization, the Nikon Z90 might even surpass its Canon counterpart. Nikon's IBIS system has already been proven in full-frame models, and if implemented effectively in the Z90, it could offer a major advantage for users who shoot in dynamic or handheld environments. Furthermore, Nikon's autofocus system, refined in the Z8 and Z9, could bring advanced subject recognition and tracking to the APS-C format, giving photographers the ability to capture sharp, fast-moving subjects with precision. Another point of differentiation lies in the design of the rear screen. While Canon chose a fully articulating LCD for the R7 to appeal to vloggers and hybrid shooters, Nikon seems to be leaning toward a more traditional tilting design for the Z90. This will likely appeal more to photographers than videographers, reinforcing the idea that the Z90 is first and foremost a stills focus tool. Of course, this doesn't preclude it from being used effectively for video, it just indicates Nikon's primary target audience with this camera. Looking at Nikon's current APS-C lineup, it becomes clear why the Z90 is generating so much buzz. The Z50 and ZF-C are solid cameras in their own right but are geared more toward beginners and enthusiasts. There is yet to be a professional-grade APS-C mirrorless camera from Nikon. For users who previously depended on the D500, the lack of a comparable mirrorless option has been a noticeable gap in the system. If the Nikon Z90 truly delivers on its rumored specs, it would not only fill this gap but also raise the bar for what an APS-C camera can achieve. Historically, APS-C cameras have been favored by sports and wildlife photographers thanks to the crop factor, which effectively increases the reach of telephoto lenses. The D500 was beloved in these circles for its balance of speed, ruggedness, and image quality. A mirrorless camera that brings those same qualities to the Z-mount ecosystem could quickly become the new go-to choice for action shooters who want a smaller, lighter, and more affordable alternative to full-frame models like the Z8 and Z9. As of now, there is no official release date or confirmation from Nikon regarding the Z90's development. However, reports suggest that field testing of new Z-mount prototypes is already underway. With Canon continuing to push forward in the APS-C mirrorless market, it would make sense for Nikon to respond sooner rather than later. A potential unveiling in 2025 or shortly thereafter would be a logical move if Nikon wants to stay competitive in this space. In conclusion, while the Nikon Z90 remains unconfirmed, the growing body of rumors points to an exciting future for Nikon's APS-C mirrorless lineup. With a 33MP sensor, fast burst shooting, in-body stabilization, advanced autofocus, and dual card slots, the Z90 could become a favorite among photographers who need performance in a compact form. If Nikon can deliver on the expectations, the Z90 won't just be a successor to the D500, it could be one of the most important APS-C cameras of this generation. For now, all we can do is wait, but if the buzz is any indication, the Nikon Z90 might not be far off.